Matt, you've often said it all looks good when the ball goes in the hoop, and they were the leading three-point shooting defensive team in the league coming in, 30.7%. You go 12 for 23. That one run there, 12-0 in the first half, kind of turned the game.
Right.
How important was it the way they were playing you
Right.
to make threes tonight?
Yeah, well, obviously we work a lot on getting doubled in the post, in various ways. And I thought tonight, the way they started the game wasn't anything that we thought, that they wouldn't do. They just came with a good, quick double. And, we didn't make, good decisions to start the game. And, we had to kind of make an adjustment, to that. And just in terms of just being solid, nothing schematic, and just secure the basketball and move the basketball. And they were coming with their other big. And I thought Vince Edwards really opened some things up for us with his ability to shoot, not just because one guy, but because he was the four. And that's who they were trying, for the most part, to double. And once we did that, I thought that really opened some things up, and our guys made better decisions, and we got good looks at the basket.
Why was your team so successful defensively tonight?
Well, I thought, first of all, Matthias did a good job on Vic Law and just didn't let him get his head up and get going. I thought our ball screen defense was better. To their defense, they don't have their leading scorer. They don't have Taphorn, who can really shoot the basketball. And really can stretch the defense for them. So, they were shorthanded, and, I thought we did a better job in our ball screen D, and I thought our guys did a good job of just being prepared, for what they run and just not letting them get where they wanted to do in some of their sets. And I thought we had a handful of times where we did a good job contesting, and they still knocked them down, especially in the first half. And, but, like I said, to their defense, they don't have their leading scorer. And anytime you're a little shorthand, especially when you're on the road, and it doesn't kind of go your way. Some things don't go your way. It's difficult.
Matt, if you don't mind, two questions. You mentioned they were trying to double off Vince. Do you mean Vince's guy was leaving?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought so. And the real question, Swanigan, 3 turnovers on his first 3 touches.
Right.
And you yank him.
Right.
What do you say to him? And
he just has to settle down.
So I guess 3 questions. Okay, what do you say to him? But then, how impressive is it that he comes back and does 24 and 6? I can follow you the hallway if you want, but
right,
how impressive is it that 24 and 16 after that?
I just thought, he just had to settle down, and they did a good job of getting their hands on the ball, and they deflected some of his passes. And I thought when he went back in there, he was aggressive on the glass and let some things come to him. And just obviously a great player. Anytime you face a little bit of adversity, sometimes it's hard to overcome or kind of get back to where you play well during the course of a game, and he's not that type of a guy. He just keeps playing hard, and but that's been his Achilles a little bit, has been those turnovers. And if he cuts down on those turnovers, that really helps us. But he sets the tone for us. He's really good. He can make threes. He can stretch the defense. He can play on the interior. He can pass, and obviously he's the best rebounder in the country.
You kind of already alluded to it, but the impact that Vince had early, maybe especially considering he hasn't really seemed like he's been making an impact these last couple games. I know the back injury probably played into that somewhat, but it seemed like maybe he needed, and the team needed him to have the kind of first half he had.
No question. Anytime you go through some tough times, whether it's an injury or you just don't get looks or the ball doesn't go in for you, you need some positive reinforcement, with the ball going in, and just feeling good about yourself. So it was great for him, but it was also great for our team because it gives us such balance when, he makes threes and everybody else is making threes. And it's not going to be your night every night. And so that's, outside, Isaac doesn't really shoot on the perimeter, even though he can make a 15-footer, but everybody else who plays for us, shoots, a good percentage, if not this year, for their career. And it just puts people in binds. And so if we can, continue to make good decisions, and Vince can be that guy who's in between, who can drive the basketball, make a pull-up, but also make threes, it really helps us out.
It seems like Klein had a lot to do with a lot of the threes you got in the first half, too. Just his floor game, I guess.
Right.
What was working for him?
It was great, whether it was transition or the half court, he ended up being the guy making that next pass, for us. And made a couple nice reads in transition, and made a couple nice reads and rotations of just moving the basketball, and led to some baskets. But in that stretch in the first half, 3 or 4 of those were his assists.
this was another case of you guys bouncing back off of a loss. Again, just what makes you guys so good at that?
You know, you hope you don't have to get to that point always to be that way, and you hope you can grow and mature as a group to where you can try to stay on edge, especially after you win, 2, 3, 4 games, whatever it might be. And but losing puts you back on edge. Losing makes you realize there's slippage, and that's as a coach. I got to do a better job of not letting that slippage happen. And we've had some people have career nights against us. Obviously Nate Mason, Peter Jock, but then the 2 guys that came off the bench for Nebraska, they combined for 36, 37 points. I forget the actual total. That was tough. That was tough for us because you do a good job on their leading scorers, and then you let something like that happen. Nate Mason's an all-conference caliber guy. Peter Jock's probably going to be a first-team all-conference guy, or if not, second team. But then you let people come off the bench and do that kind of damage. For us, we have a mature group. We have guys that understand the game, but you got to be able to respect people that come off somebody's bench. Maybe they just don't quite have that opportunity, but there's good players everywhere. And just because maybe you don't start a game doesn't mean you're not a good player. And I just thought we did a poor job of recognizing those 2 guys. And then like tonight, now they lose a couple of their guys, and they got some people come off the bench, and that's what we really talked about. We talked about how good Brown is. Brown's a good player, but he plays with 3 really good guards. So sometimes it's tough. You don't have quite the opportunity because you have McIntosh, you have Lindsey, you have Law, and we really tried to sell them on that. I thought our guys did a good job of respecting him and not letting him get going because he's got a chance to, down the road to be an all-conference guy. He's a talented kid.
Coach, you had 17 assists on 24 made baskets. What do you attribute to that?
Just moving the basketball. Those guys, doubling in the post or, over helping and just moving the ball. And I'd attribute some of those turnovers, to their defense too. They've done a good job with their group in terms of their team defense. But just being unselfish, trying to move the ball. We really try to push, even though people don't, coaches understand it, but a lot of people don't realize we really try to push the basketball. And try to set the tone and just try to get something before you get set. Then if you don't, we just try to move the basketball as quick as we can to get you behind plays. Then if not, we run a lot of stuff for shooters. We run a lot of stuff for our big guys trying to get the ball inside and then get you in a rotation, whether you overhelp or you double the post or get aggressive with the ball screen. We just try to get the ball out of our hands as quick as possible. And when we don't do that, that's how we struggle. But when we do that, that's how we have a lot of success.
Last one in the back.
Coach, you held Vic Law, who's, I guess, Northwestern's leading healthy scorer, to just 1 point. Was there anything you did on him?
We just wanted to stay with him. We didn't want him to be able to come off those pin downs. We didn't want him to post up. So we tried to take his post ups away, let our 5 come in more and open up on those back screens and the shuffles and the flex cuts and just stay in there until that guy could get around. So we didn't want him to post up. We didn't want him to come off pin downs clean. And then we wanted to try our best to find him in transition because we know that, he's streaky and he's a guy, once he hits one, now sometimes, you can actually be there and he still makes them. So he's a good player, man. He's really improved. And, sometimes getting on the road, not giving those guys opportunities. Like he had 7 shots. I think that was probably the telltale for us, that we didn't give him a lot of opportunities. All right, thank you. Mike, do you need anything? Are you good? You good? Okay, all right.